If you're getting muted audio within your Twitch VODs, I'm going to show you what you can do to appeal it and prevent it from happening in the future. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Beatwalker and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about Twitch muting your VODs and what that means for you and how you can prevent it in the future. The first thing I want to say is when you receive a muted portion within your Twitch VOD, it doesn't mean it's a copyright strike. So I just want to get that out of the way. It's just Twitch's attempt to potentially remove some music that may be potentially copyrighted. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky because Twitch's system is not perfect. So I just want you to understand that it's not a copyright strike. It's just sort of a warning. And there's also things to prevent it from happening and an appeal that you can do if you know for a fact that it's non-copyrighted music. But I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. So I'm going to link this below. It's basically Twitch's music guidelines, or just everything that you need to know about streaming music on Twitch or music in the background, whatever the case may be. There's basically 3 types of music content that you can use within Twitch, and once you understand this, then you can start selecting music for your streams a little bit better and not just pick any random song within Spotify's playlist that might come up as copyrighted. So the first thing is obviously music owned by you. So if you're a music producer like myself, or you make music or made music in the past, you can stream that unless it's copyrighted by a big label, obviously. So you don't want to get in trouble with them. Make sure it's okay with them as well. So music owned by you is perfectly okay. And that goes in line with the second thing, which is music licensed to you. So music licensed to you is a little bit different in that somebody gave you permission via their distributor or via their label to allow you to stream that music. Now you might have to have some sort of contract if it's a bigger label. For the most part, if it's somebody who makes copyright music, like No Copyright Sounds or Play the Sound by Myself, stuff like that offer 100%. Stream Beats is another one, basically, that offer 100% copyright free music. For the most part, those are okay to go ahead and stream, just as long as you're not claiming it as your own, of course. And then music streamed by Twitch, obviously that's their personal Spotify, so to speak, that allows you to play music within Twitch that won't come out on your VODs. It's still kind of a touchy subject with a lot of people, but I did a video on Soundtrack by Twitch, what I think about it and just how it works, and whatever you want to check that out, you can do so. And yeah, so that's pretty much the types of music that you can have on Twitch where it will absolutely cause you no copyright strikes. For the most part, there's some exceptions in there, but you're basically 99% protected if you just follow those 3 guidelines. And then it gets into some examples of what they don't want Twitch to really be. A big one is this DJ set. Now, I have seen DJs that play a lot of popular music. I mean, obviously it's a huge no-no now. Probably used to be okay in the past, but it's something I would not recommend doing unless you're playing a lot of the no copyrighted sounds or no copyrighted music while you're DJing. That's probably okay, but to play popular music while you're DJing is not ideal right now. Same thing with like this radio style. Monster Cat does a thing where it just plays music. That's okay because that's their music. And same thing if you have your own music and you're just doing sort of like a radio show where you're just playing music, but just in line with the types of music, I think you're okay. You can check out the other ones there, but the main thing I want to focus on in this video is they talk about how it impacts you. So what they can do is if the system that Twitch uses feels that there's potential copyright there, it'll actually mute your VOD. And it causes a lot of concern. So I've even had some of my music on my no copyright playlists that have been muted, and I'm like, hey, this is no copyright. Well, a lot of it has to do with how distributors put out music. One thing to remember is you can have a no copyright label, like No Copyright Sounds or whatever the case, and they can actually still use ID, like YouTube ID, or any types of ID to identify music being potentially copyrighted. Now they shouldn't do this, so I don't use YouTube ID for Play This Sound. Some labels may not know that this causes it. So what it does is it feeds into the system that Twitch is using to allow it to mute the audio. So once it's muted, so you can actually appeal it. So if you know for sure that the audio that's been muted has been licensed to you or it's your own music, you can actually appeal the audio and Again, I'm gonna link this all down below so you can check it out. So what you'll want to do is when you go to your videos tab, you're gonna see the muted audio, and then to the right of it, you'll be able to select to appeal the audio. Now what it's gonna do is it's gonna bring up the audio that's been muted, and usually it gives you an artist or a song name there, so you can identify right off the bat if that song matches what you were playing. A good thing about that is if it doesn't match the song at all, if it's some random other song, appeal it and you should be good almost 100% of the time that I've done that. If it matches the actual song that came out muted, what you might want to do is remove that song from the playlist, because that's one of those that the distributors put through to the ID. So I would not recommend playing that song unless you have actual permission to be playing that song. Now it doesn't mean that you're going to get copyright striked at all. It just means that somewhere when they distributed music, it fell into the ID category, so they are just pulling that, and it might affect your VODs too, especially nobody wants to hear muted audio within your VODs. Now to get away with this completely, you can do a few things. You can use Soundtrack from Twitch, which will get rid of the music within your VOD, or you can use OBS's VOD track feature to get rid of the audio, just so you don't have any music within your VODs anyway. So that's one thing you can do to avoid this completely. But if you like playing audio in the background, you don't have to go through the process of, you know, doing certain things, then you can do that. If you want to see a video on how to separate that audio within OBS, I'm going to link it up below and you can check that out. So yeah, once you've appealed it, it's going to pretty much take a couple days for them to go through and take a look at it. There are some things that you just can't appeal, like if it's 100% copyrighted, and if you're giving credit to the artist like we see on YouTube all the time, or just in general, it's not going to be something that you can appeal if you know for sure that you just used any music that was out there. So keep that in mind and just play it safe when you're doing stuff like this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't want to get too deep into the Twitch DMCA type stuff guidelines. I think you have heard too much of that with plenty of videos. This is mainly just to appeal certain audio that you feel was, you know, that you feel you had the right to use, or it was a no copyright type playlist. But again, just, you know, if it's not your audio and it's in a no copyright playlist, doesn't always mean it's no copyright. I have some stuff in my playlist that might fall in that category, so I always try to go through and skim them through Twitch and YouTube ID, just to make sure I always have no copyrighted tracks in my playlist. So yeah, if you guys like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more future stuff. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.